Good morning class, Asmita teacher here. In the previous presentation, we had learnt about what is adaptation. In today's presentation, we will be learning about adaptation in plants. How have the plants adapted themselves according to the places where they grow, that is according to their habitat. To begin with, let's check the adaptation in aquatic plants. Aquatic plants are those plants which grow in water. Some of the aquatic plants are firmly rooted in the soil at the bottom of the water bodies. Their stems are submerged while leaves and flowers float on the surface. However, some plants are entirely afloat. Their roots are not anchored in the soil. The surface of leaves and stems of many aquatic plants are covered with a waxy layer. Leaves of some aquatic plants are thin and slender like a ribbon. This shape helps them to withstand fast currents of water. Air spaces in stems and petioles of aquatic plants are useful for floating in water. The surface of leaves and stems are covered with a waxy layer, so the leaf or the stem does not become wet and does not rot in the water. At the same time, when the leaves are thin and slender like a ribbon, they can move along with the fast currents of the water. The currents will not damage or break those stems or those leaves. That is the reason why they have tender, slender and thin branches for themselves. At the same time, there are air spaces in stems and petioles of aquatic plants, and because of these air spaces, they are able to float in water. Now let's see the adaptation in desert plants. The desert plants have to adjust to the extreme surroundings in the desert of scarcity of water and high heat. Let's see how have these plants adapted themselves to stay in those extreme conditions. Desert plants are either leafless or their leaves are like small needles or have been modified into thorns. As a result, they lose very little water by evaporation. The stem stores water and food and therefore it is fleshy. The stems are green as they perform photosynthesis in the absence of leaves. There is a thick layer of waxy substance on the stems of these plants too. Their roots penetrate deep into the soil and some roots spread into the soil in search of water. So if you observe the pictures, you will see that the stems have leaves either in the form of thorns or in the form of needles, or the leaves are totally absent. So if the leaves are not there, who will do the process of photosynthesis? Who will prepare the food for the plant? For that case, the plants or the desert plants have done a modification that the food is prepared not by the leaves but by the stem. So if you observe the stems are green in color because they are the one who will be doing the process of photosynthesis. At the same time, the stems are fleshy. They store water in them and so they are fleshy. If you observe the roots, either the roots will go vertically down in search of water or they will spread horizontally on the surface in search of water. Or in some cases, you will also find the roots to be swollen in the form of tubes or bulbs because they store water in the roots. In some plants, you will find prickles or spikes or thorns. They are the ones which will protect the plant from the thirsty animals. All these modifications are brought about in the body of a desert plant so that they can adapt themselves to the scarcity of water that they face in the desert. After seeing the adaptation in aquatic plants and desert plants, now let's come to the adaptation in plants of snowy regions. Here, the plants have to adjust themselves to the severe snowfall and the extremely low temperatures. Let's see how have these plants adapted to their surroundings. Plants of snowy regions mainly include conifers like deodar and pine. These trees are conical in shape due to their sloping branches. In the heavy snowfall and extreme cold in these regions, their conical shape prevents the snow from accumulating on the tree, and the thick bark helps the tree to withstand the cold. So, to adjust to the surroundings, there are modifications in the shape of the tree. If you observe the shape, it looks like a cone, it looks like a triangle. So, whatever snow will fall on them will slip off and slide off and come back to the ground. It will not stay on the tree for a longer time. Same way, the branch or the trunk of the tree is very thick. There is a thick bark so that they can withstand the cold temperatures. If you observe the leaves of these trees, you will find that the leaves are not broad, they are not big, they are not huge, they are thin, they are slender, and they are needle shaped. All these are the adaptations of plants growing in the snowy regions. Now we come to the adaptation in plants of forest regions. Forest regions, you will find a great variety in plants. Forests in the equatorial region are dense. A variety of plants, trees, shrubs, and herbs are found in forests. These plants compete among themselves for sunlight. Hence, trees grow to get sunlight, and climbers and vines grow to a great height with the support of trees. Spring-like tendrils on the stem of some climbers is an example of an adaptation that is there in the climbers so that they can reach greater heights to get the sunlight. Now let's check the adaptation in grassland plants. Diverse types of bushes and grasses are found in the grasslands. From the name itself you can understand grasslands, areas where you will find a great variety in grass and bushes. Vast meadows are found in hilly areas as well as plains. Some grasslands, the grass grows very tall. Animals like tiger, elephants, and deer can remain hidden in these grasses. However, grasses in colder regions are very short. Animals like the rabbit are found in such grasses. The grass has fibrous roots, and these roots hold on tightly to the soil and hence help in prevention of soil erosion. That brings us to the end of today's presentation. At the end, I am giving you two worksheets. In the first worksheet, you have to observe the plants and complete the chart. The columns mentioned are the name of the plant, habitat, type of root, characteristics of the leaves, and characteristics of the stem. The first example, lotus, is already solved for you so that you can take the help of that chart and complete the remaining tables. You have to write your observations for cactus, banyan, and rose. For the second worksheet, you have to observe and note down the adaptation in the parts of the plants. The plants given to you are potato, groundnut, yam, water hyacinth, aloe, acacia, carrot, onion, beet, bitter gourd, and grapevine. Observe these plants and write down what is the adaptation in them so that they can adjust to the surrounding. That brings us to the end of today's presentation. I hope you have understood the adaptations of plants that are found in water, in desert, in snowy regions, in forests, and in grasslands. Thank you.